Hello, beautiful people. This is Sheila Slaughter. I'm founder of BohemianWomanRising.com, where we challenge social constructs in pursuit of spiritual transformation. We're also about health, wellness, spirituality, creative self-expression, and ufology, and women's intellectual history. I don't know if I said that. and I'm here today with another Fierce Boho Women interview. It's where I give emerging and established women in all areas of business and the creative arts an opportunity to share their wisdom and insights about their journeys. Um, and before we get into the formal part of the interview, I do have to thank Miss Katharina Mehta, who is handling the tech behind the scenes for me. Thank you. Katharina is the owner of Project 5356. And if you need help with your grants and operations consultancy, please reach out to Katharina. For as you can see, I'm dealing with an episode of Tremors. It's a little bit protracted this episode, but we're gonna power for it through this. And in terms of me, I'm a conscious empath and a master Reiki practitioner, creative. I create jewelry, and I also crochet. Since it's Halloween, I made this little guy last year. I haven't had the opportunity, for obvious reasons, to do any creative work for the moment, but you can still visit my Instagram page, Bohemian Woman Rising, where I archive all of my creative works. I make jewelry as well, and so please feel free to check that out, and make sure you check out Katharina's Project 5356 on Instagram as well. And the disclaimer for today is we want you to, this is for informational purposes only. You should always reach out to a medical professional if you have questions about something that you're dealing with. So there's that. Today's topic is going to be about personal identity and self-awareness. And I'm excited to have speaker and confidence and personality identity coach Nimisha Mehta with us today. Because I did a talk last year when I learned about epigenetics and how that if from my basic understanding of epigenetics as a layperson, it's really key to your self-awareness in your personal identity journey, or any journey. If you're just seeking out talk therapy, I think epigenetics is something that we all need to be aware of on our journey towards self-awareness. And I'm just going to read a very short excerpt from the video I did last year, which I'll try to remember to link in this one, in terms of what epigenetics is. So according to cdc.gov, epigenetics refers to how your behaviors and environment can cause changes that affect the way your genes work. Genetic changes, they refer to them as mutations. Epigenetic changes are reversible and do not change the sequence of DNA bases, but they can change how your body reads a DNA sequence. And I know that's kind of technical jargon, so I found this other little paragraph from clevelandclinic.org. Epigenetics is the study of how our environment influences our genes by changing the chemicals attached to them. What we eat, our physical activity level, access to resources, and more affect those chemicals, in turn shaping our health. Epigenetics can help scientists understand why diseases happen and explore new avenues for treatment. And now I'm trying to put in a little bit of context for everyone. So my layperson understanding of epigenetics is like a pregnant woman, the baby experiences the emotions that the mother is experiencing during the pregnancy. And I know about that personally because I learned in my 40s when I was in talk therapy that was dealing with my mom's depression. I was, and I didn't learn that until I was in my 40s, that was a thing, that a child can definitely inherit that from the mother. And also another example I think is veterans with complex PTSD when they come back from war, and that's how being exposed to that type of warlike environment for years impacts their physical biology through the epigenetic experience. I hope that helps a little bit. So for me, that's what I'm going to be working in the background as we get to know Nimisha and learn more about her work. That's what's going to be working in the background for me. And so, welcome, Nimisha.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. We so much appreciate your time. So,
Thank you, Sheila. I appreciate you and the invite that I have on this great show. Thank you.
oh no, you're very welcome. Um, so I guess I'll just dive into the questions.
Let's
And
do it.
the first is, do you have any certifications or training that are relevant to your practice?
Yes, I actually took in a course from an agency. It's a coaching practice called IPEC, and it's a huge sort of and by the way, I did it during 2020, which was when COVID was going on. So I did the whole thing online. I wish I'd done it in person. I was talking to a friend of mine who is also an IPEC graduate and who's also a coach, and she was saying, in person, it's way more effective. It's way more sort of like it really gets inside of you. So I wish I'd done that, but I got to do it online and it was just as impactful. I was blown away.
Was there any key takeaways from that experience for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Coaching is all just to become a coach,
Mm-hmm.
you have to also be coachable
Yeah,
yourself. So, you know,
yeah,
so you actually a lot of your stuff comes out. And
yes.
I had not realized that until I went into the program and actually sat down on that chair with all those people who were also realizing this for the first time, how
Oh, wow.
deeply this was going to affect us. And so, yeah, we were all just, by the time we finished, it was a 2-day training. It's like an intensive 8 to 9 hours, per day, and you're just like locked in. And it was impactful in a very, very emotional and mentally draining way, where it just drains you mentally, but in a good way.
Yeah, because it sounds like you're doing, as a conscious empath, you're doing like the spiritual shadow work.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, that's
And
exactly what it is. And it
that's intense.
really heals parts of you, realizing that everyone else is doing the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, kudos to you. I'm impressed by that. That's not easy. So, hats off to you.
Thank you. But that was the training, that was the initial sort of the initial step into coaching, and you realize what coaching really is because it impacts you so much
Yes.
that when you come out of it, you
Mhm.
become this coach that really wants to give that to their client.
Because as a coach, you're in a unique position. You have to not only be able to look at the situation from the outside, but you also have to understand the client's perspective. So
Exactly.
it's very comprehensive that way.
Yes, yes, it is.
You will know.
Yeah, I mean, I restrain myself from saying because I validate you acknowledge and validate your client all the time,
Mhm.
and I restrain from saying I can relate like
Yeah,
every 2 minutes because I
yeah.
say it once in a while, but I want to say it very often because I absolutely relate.
Well, I would prefer someone who can relate. Just.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so, what was your inspiration for creating your coaching business?
I was my inspiration.
Oh, I love it.
I was my first client.
Oh,
Yeah. I did a lot of work on myself. I wanted to do something that truly showed me my in the coaching language, it's your higher self, but you can say the self that you really want to be, someone
mhm,
you actually inspire to be. And
mhm,
it could be inspired by another human, just I want to be like this person, or it could be something that you made up, like different parts of other people or things that you've seen in your life. And you just put together this list or this person,
mhm,
um, which is, it's completely made up.
mhm,
But you want to step into this person's shoes and be like this. And so
mhm,
that's what I wanted to create for myself. And I remember thinking when I first came out to the world as a coach, I remember thinking, I don't feel very confident as a coach. I don't feel very CEO esque. And
yeah,
I remember
no,
saying,
just starting.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
a
And
normal
you don't get validated immediately. You just don't.
feeling.
And so that in itself, when you get a job, you apply for a job and you get hired and you start doing the work, you start getting validation immediately because you start getting paid immediately.
Mhm,
You start getting paid for whatever work you do in an office or wherever.
mhm,
Whereas in your own business, you don't start getting validation until you get your first client.
mm,
And so that validation, just that pay stub, is so
mm,
important for your
okay,
mind,
okay.
for you to feel like you're doing something that makes a difference.
Mhm,
This is like, housewives. We do so much as a housewife, but
yeah.
no acknowledgement or validation or reward in a sense of like monetary reward.
Invisible labor.
Exactly.
I understand.
That's what business actually is. The beginning of a business is invisible labor.
Yeah, this is so true. Ooh, that gives me goosebumps. So, please share your coaching philosophy.
My coaching philosophy is for you to feel that you are you are choosing to do something for yourself, which is coaching. You chose to be coached, and you're actually happy with that choice.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
my only philosophy. I used to, when I began, I used to think, oh yeah, like I want to make an impact. Um,
Hmm.
Sometimes you don't.
Yeah,
I learned that through time and through practice. Sometimes you don't.
people are fickle.
Exactly. Sometimes you don't make the impact.
Yeah,
Sometimes someone comes in and they don't open up.
yeah.
They
Maybe, yeah. Maybe I won't say people are fickle. More accurately, people are people.
Exactly. Exactly. It's that choice. So I feel as though my coaching philosophy is that you're happy with the choice that you made to at least to be coached.
Mhm.
Whether you're coachable, whether it works out or not, that's not up to me.
But the door is open to explore.
Exactly. You open the door. Yes, exactly. So yeah, that's the philosophy. Open the door. Or a window, whatever you want to open it.
Whichever one you can reach easily.
Exactly. Just open it. That's all.
I have a personal philosophy, which is that whatever may be going on in your life that's challenging you, just make steps forward. They don't have to be leaps and bounds, just forward motion. And even if you have to stand still for a little while, that's okay. But try not to backslide. Just even if you just take little incremental steps or big leaps and bounds, and try not to judge yourself on the journey. That's just my thing.
That's amazing. I can completely back that up with you. It's just it's really important to just even the first step.
Yeah, we get in our heads a lot and we talk ourselves out of our visions and our
Yeah.
wishes. So I've learned a lot about myself along the way anyway. So What was an unexpected challenge you've encountered while establishing your business?
Oh my God. The most unexpected challenge that most coaches will probably encounter is that your niche will change. Like
Oh,
you change, yeah, like the days of the week. It's crazy. Some people are very focused and they have a niche in mind and they go with that and that's their mission in life. And
mhm.
I applaud those people because I'm telling you, for those of us that have changed our niches, and it's not because you want to, it's because just the it just
The nature of the work that you're doing.
exactly. There are things that call to you. There
Hmm.
are people that call to you. There are situations that call to you that
Hmm.
make you want to think in a different direction. And then,
Yeah,
lo and behold, you're walking in that direction now. And
kind of that's kind of exciting in a way
it
because
is,
you're
but it's also scary because there's no path.
yeah.
There's
That's
actually no path.
the exciting part. But I respect the scary part too. the
Yes.
unknown the unknown element. I get it.
Yeah, it is pretty unknown. I think, like I said, there are people, of course, there's those that handful of group, that the handful of people that say, "Oh, this is what I chose, and this is my path, and this is my mission. That's it," and they're on it.
Yes.
But I believe with, I feel like with time, you also as a person changed,
Oh,
and
sure.
and being a coach is not a job. It's you as a person. I can never turn it off. Sometimes I have to stop myself from coaching someone who is a friend of mine who's just coming to me, to
Mhm.
sort of, and they have an issue and they're asking me for help. And I'm like, I have to turn off the coach and just
Yeah.
be a friend. And now I just outright ask, do you want me to be your coach or do you want me to put a coach hat on or do you want a friend? You know, it, yeah, sometimes I just ask now because it's difficult to turn it off. But yeah, it's a practice.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, how many say they want you to be answer as a friend or as a coach?
Some people say I want both.
They want both.
Yes. Some say I want both. So then I give them half and half. As a friend, this is what I'd say. But as a
And this is
coach,
me as the coach. You'll get my bill in the mail.
exactly. And I do understand that they may not take the coaching advice, and that's totally okay because they may just want the friend. And that's
Yeah,
okay.
amazing. That's very insightful. Um, okay, so knowing what you know now, would you have changed anything about how you embarked on your coaching business journey?
Ah, I want to say yes. I do want to say yes because the circumstances that led me to coaching were very strenuous. They were not easy for me.
Uh-huh.
And the past, I'm going to say 20 years have been really, really stressful physically for me. But and knowing what I know now in terms of how I'm able to help people, how I'm able to find the peace in myself
Mm-hmm.
that people are really just um I'll give you an example. There was a time when because I had health issues for a very long time, for a good 15 years.
My goodness.
Health situations that didn't allow me to have a career. And so I I got into coaching after a very, very long period of not doing much
Mm-hmm.
in terms of, now, see, I'm saying much in terms of work or like the worldly stuff.
Right.
But the internal work was happening because I had 15 years of taking care of my health and my mind chatter and, all of that stuff that comes with struggling with health issues. So
Mm-hmm.
I have that experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I have that pause that nobody else got to experience because they had to just go, go, go. As soon as they graduated college, they started
Yes.
work and go, go, go. So they didn't get time to evaluate
Yes.
themselves. I
Yeah.
did. So would I switch with them? Yeah, tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
It's
I'd
like
switch
a school.
places.
that was like that was your school, that period of time of
Exactly.
quote unquote unwork.
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
that was your learning mode, your learning curve mode.
yeah. So I'm still 50-50 on whether I would change the
Yeah,
circumstances or not.
I understand. I kind of get that. I'm recently retired, like just a few weeks in now.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm excited about it, but it comes with mixed feelings. But
Yes.
leading up to the retirement, those 10 or 15 years were challenging. I lost a, a good paying job in my 50s, and it was very hard to find work again at that point. Ageism and stuff. Then like you, I had some health challenges to deal with, which would cause me not to be able to work on a consistent basis. And so, of course, you go through. I went through a little bit of an identity crisis. It's like, okay, every you're brought up in this world. Yeah, you're supposed to be working, being a productive citizen, and all that. But I had to shift about of like, what it does it mean for me to be productive? I'm not. I'm not. I no longer define myself by spurious social standards. That's how I'll frame it. So I'm great. It was the hardest, one of the hardest times in my life, but I've come into myself, and there's nothing more important than that. You know, the end result is that I'm more self-aware, and I'm grateful for that. So
Yeah.
I can relate to what you're saying.
Yeah, same. I think we're feeling the same emotion, really. There's a lot of gratitude, but there's also the acknowledgement of how painful that time was.
Yeah,
I wouldn't wish it on anyone,
and
but
for me, it took a toll physically
yeah,
too.
same.
Yeah, so
Yeah, same.
strong women we are.
Yes, we're back. We're back in action.
um, um, oh, do you have any mentors who inspired your professional journey?
I honestly, I refrain from having actual mentors.
Uh-huh.
I have a few that I really take bits and pieces from. I remember watching The Secret, and I loved Bob Proctor, and I started listening. This was back, 10 years ago when I
I love that movie.
yeah, it really made
I
such
had
a
the book
huge
too.
yeah, same. And I got the second one too. It made a huge difference in my life at that time because the philosophies really helped me
Yeah,
in the way that they had framed everything
yeah,
in a very easy to understand
yeah.
way. So for me, there were so many people on that video or in that book that made
Yeah.
a huge difference. But again, I took bits and pieces, but I
Sure.
didn't follow the actual person um,
Hmm.
diligently. And that's because I feel as though it comes a little bit from the religion I follow, Hinduism, is that we
Hmm.
take bits and pieces. There are all these different gods and we call on the god that we, would like the help from, it's not
Your religion. I
yeah,
don't. I don't particularly follow any organized religion, but I refer to myself as an omni spiritualist. So I
yeah,
what resonates to me for me. I mean, I think
exactly.
different canons have something to offer everybody. So that's my
Yes.
approach.
I feel it's very dangerous to follow just one or two people
Agree.
um, religiously, as well as just putting so much energy into because I feel like people will, because we're all humans, people will disappoint you at some point.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
so I refrain from having that kind of
Yeah.
just this is my mentor or that's my mentor kind of mentality and just taking bits and pieces from everyone to create this, I guess, persona or
Mhm.
this treasure chest that I
Yeah.
go to for inspiration.
I love it. I mean, the thing I haven't the secret I read that was years and years ago.
Yeah.
But the main thing was like you have to go inside. The journey is about it's an inner journey. It's not an external experience.
Yeah.
And people will struggle with that
Yeah,
because we're
it's
not taught to go inside. We're taught to focus on the external world, and to aspire to whatever the external world wants you to be. And that's not how I define myself
yeah.
anymore. I love that. Okay, in your opinion, how how can the wellness coaching community better support women working in the arena?
This is a great question because honestly, the wellness community is, I don't want to sound controversial, but it might be, but I feel that the wellness community needs to better support men.
Interesting.
I feel that there are
Well,
so
based
many,
on a female experience, I would agree with you.
right? I feel as though
Together?
there are so many of us women, and we are emotionally available and open, and we are coaches and we are wellness practitioners of whatever field, right?
Hmm?
The issue here is that I'd really like the men to be that open. I'd
Yeah,
really like the men to jump in and say,
touche,
right?
touche.
I feel that that is the change that I'd really like to see because, and not the spiritual the spiritual gurus that just have these buzzwords and
Yeah,
give you these insights, and then suddenly their real life is very different. I want that change to happen internally first for these people who are showing up and saying, this is, what I know. Well, how
yeah,
do you know that? Did you just read a book and
right,
are just telling me what the book says, or are you actually practicing it?
right.
And
So,
we don't have to practice all of it, right? Of course not. You cannot. But I'm
yeah,
saying there has to be some like, hey, I tried this out.
yeah. I love what you're saying there. That was an epiphany moment for me. And because I always think about talk therapy is based on a patriarchal canon. You
Yeah.
know, the books that you're taught from, the learning, the tools that anybody in that field wants to learn from us, it's all predominantly patriarchal lens purview. So that was the where I was coming from with that question. Like
Yeah.
we need, I'm sure there are a lot of women now in the field. I don't if they're I'm not sure if they're preeminent in the field now, but that was where I was leaning with the question. Like we need to make sure that there's a balanced masculine feminine perspective in talk therapy.
But you're absolute in that case, you're absolutely right. I feel that but honestly, in the field that I'm in coaching,
Mm-hmm.
there just in my class,
Mm-hmm.
there were probably only like 4 men
Wow.
out of the 50
So
people.
that's the shift.
Yeah, or the 80 people or whatever. There were like 4 men. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel as though tapping into this is a very, very feminine emotion. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be,
Yeah.
but it is to say that I'm empathetic, or, it's a
Yeah.
very feminine emotion. Everybody should have empathy. Um,
Yeah.
but, females have more empathy. So I feel as though that's what I was saying. But you're absolutely right. When it comes to patriarchy, it's
Mm-hmm.
one of those things where females or women um, step out there and really work hard, and we are not seen for the
Mm-hmm.
hard work. We're seen as the shell that we are, the face, the body, it's, but for men, it's more they look at what's up here.
Yeah.
And
That's
I'd
true.
like that to change, is that please look at what's up here and over here for women as well.
Yeah.
We're not just dramatic.
Yeah. I think both masculine and feminine, and from a spiritual perspective, masculine and feminine is not about the gender because
Yeah.
men can be feminine and women can be men can carry the feminine energy and women can carry the masculine energy. It's how am I going to say this? It's
It's the
just
balance.
it's
It's the balance.
to
Yeah.
balance it.
Yeah.
There's
So I'll give you an
work
example,
to be
right?
done all around from on both sides. There's work to be done.
Exactly. I'll give you an example. I'm a very feminine leaning, like, feminine side leaning person. So my feminine side is very, very strong. My masculine side, not so much, which
Mm-hmm.
means that when it comes to getting things done, I have fear. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to creation and creativity and just
Yeah.
coming up with in emotions and ideas and stuff, I can do it in a heartbeat, no problem.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning more into my masculine when it comes to getting things done. I ask for help when it
Yeah.
comes to masculine stuff. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask for someone who does this stuff really well, and
Yeah.
you know, to help me out. I also have a coach to say, hey, help me out with
Yes.
this masculine stuff. How do I set this up?
Yeah.
Whereas the feminine stuff, I'm like, no problem. I can do this very easily.
Totally. So I'm the opposite. I lead more with my masculine energy. But
Yeah.
I know that to look at me, people don't wouldn't think that, but that's how I mentally operate. And
Yeah.
that always growing up, I'm in my well, you know, I'm retired, so I'm 62. So I'm growing up. That was always got me into trouble with people. Not from my perspective. I was just being myself,
Yeah.
but people have ideas of how you should conduct yourself as a little girl, and I was
Mm.
more tomboy. I was the one that I was gonna prove them wrong. Like my male cousins are like, you can't climb that 15-foot fence. I'm climbing the fence. I might get cut. I might have been bruised. I might have fallen on the other side, but don't tell me I can't do it.
Yeah, but I love that. I love that. And we have both energies. We really do.
Yes, yes, yeah. I mean, yes. It's just finding the balance.
Yes, exactly.
Um, okay. What are your thoughts about how epigenetics can potentially influence one's journey towards self awareness?
Okay. For me,
Yeah.
particularly, it's been an interesting ride when it comes to my environment because a lot of my environment came from my culture,
Mm,
and that caused a lot of turmoil
mm,
and stress. And
mm,
uh, I was a people pleaser. I
mm-hmm,
was a love chaser
mm,
because I was the girl.
mm,
And girls don't get the same respect as boys do in my culture. At least
mm,
from when, you know, I was growing up. Today things are very different and I'm glad. But
mm,
things, even as much as like, what are you going to wear,
mm-hmm,
gets dictated by somebody else.
mm-hmm,
And you get told, I remember seeing a video the other day. It was a reel that came up on my thing, and it was so emotional. It really got to me because it was a boy and a girl, brother and sister, and the mother came, and this was to make the impact. And the mother came and she gave the girl like a dupatta, like a scarf to cover herself,
mm-hmm,
right? And that is basically the honor of the family.
mm,
She's the keeper of the honor of the family, right? And the boy got the property papers of the family because he got the finances of the family.
mm-hmm.
And it really got to me is that the time that I grew up in, that was very normal.
Yeah.
The women held the honor of the family, which meant a little girl who was born in your family um,
Mm-hmm.
had the honor of the entire family on her
Right.
shoulders.
Right.
So she grew up with that, and I grew up with that.
Yeah. That's
So everything that you do that's not considered correct
yeah.
is bad.
Yeah.
So
That's
that means you're bad. So I feel
now.
that that environment really causes someone to just feel um to have these, you know, I was a chronic people pleaser, constantly seeking validation from everyone just to be overextending myself and um hoping that I give enough, and then you realize that it's never going to be enough. It's never enough because you'll do everything right and you'll do one thing that they consider wrong and you're a bad person.
Yeah. And as a child, that's all you hear. You forget all the good stuff because you're so
Exactly.
focused on.
Exactly. And you're
Like,
told to be a certain way, so you can't be the way you want to be, the way you were, probably meant to be.
yeah,
And up until I was 40 years old, did I realize that that's not even me.
right.
So it took me a long time to get here, but I changed my environment. I changed. So this is what I do with a lot of my clients. I do mirror work is because I stood in front of that mirror and I didn't feel like the CEO. I didn't feel like this business starter. I just felt like me, which
Mhm.
was, I had no confidence. I felt I wasn't worthy. And I
Yeah,
didn't feel like could make money. Really, I just didn't feel like I could make any money.
right.
So I
And
changed it. I changed the way I dressed. I changed the way, I looked at myself in the mirror and said, how would a CEO dress? How
right.
would they walk? What would they say when they speak to people? How would they come about just having a normal conversation with somebody from the
Yeah,
heart, but also from the mind?
yes.
And those are the changes that I made in my environment that
Mhm.
really affected my confidence. I
Yeah.
was able to slowly, and I'm also breaking these chains from
Mhm.
the generational chains
Mhm.
that were passed on to me, and I'm not passing this on to anyone else.
Mhm. I love that.
Yeah.
Same here. Um, I was in my 40s when I had my epiphany wake up moment, and it was scary because I'm like, I'm not that person I've been told I am all from childhood until that moment in my, that is not who I am. And that was scary because then you have to do all that shadow work and figure it out. But growing up, similar cultural um, pressures. I like, um, we all had chores, but sometimes I felt like my brother was a little favorite just because he was a boy. And then um, I was told that, oh, you're gonna get married, and I knew by the time I was 16 I was not gonna have kids. And they're say, oh, you're gonna have kids. I'm like, no, I don't want kids. And I'm like, oh, you're too young to know that. And I'm thinking to myself, no, I'm I'm old enough to figure that shit out for myself. You know, and
Absolutely.
don't get me wrong. Parenting is the most important job in the world. There's nothing more important. You're raising up little humans. There's
Yeah.
nothing more important than that. But it's so important. I knew myself. I don't have that maternal instinct, and I understood that about myself, and I was okay with that. And I think there are too many people out there who have babies who get married without even understanding. They want to get married because it's a status thing. I'm like, that's that's so wrong. You're heading down the wrong path there. You know.
Girl,
It's,
wait till you get to like Indian households where the girls get any function that you go to, we get taunted by like random aunties that will come up to us and be like, when are you getting married? Like
yeah,
random people will come up to
I don't want it. I'm not. I mean, I'm not. No, that's not. That's not. I'm not. It was not about getting married. It's
Yeah.
making sure you're marrying for the right reason.
Yeah, exactly.
More important than that, I didn't want kids, and I knew that early on. And I'm grateful that I figured that out early because there are too many people out there who have kids who should not have kids. Sorry, not
Yeah.
sorry. You know,
Yeah. Trust
you're
me, some of our millennial parents are those people that should not have had kids. But at the same time, it's so difficult to stay on this path. So honestly, I truly celebrate you to have stayed on this path and know that this is just not something that I will do as and be committed to as much
yeah,
as I'd like to.
yeah.
Because honestly, if you're having kids just to have kids, um, then
But they're
please,
not even aware that they're. I feel as an empath, a lot of people, couples, are not even. They don't know themselves well enough to have children. Is that terrible to say? I don't know.
oh, it's not terrible to say. I think it's very true. So many parents will never tell you they regret having their children because you cannot.
Right,
But
right.
internally, only they know if they do or not. And
The
I'm
child
sure they
feels
do.
it, but then the child will feel that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't think a child will. I think a child would feel that. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I think it's parenting is so important, and I
Yeah.
knew that wasn't for me. but I have the highest respect for parents out there. It's
Same.
there's nothing more important.
Yeah.
Woo, epigenetics is intense.
Yeah, it is. Honestly, when you get into it, it really gets very,
We're
very.
touching on the tip of it. We're
We're
not.
not even, yeah, we're not even discussing it yet. We're just introducing it.
I mean, that's a deep dive. Maybe we can have you back and we can do a deep
Yes,
dive.
we'll do the deep dive into it.
I don't know if people will be ready for that, but we can do it. This is an interesting question for me. Have you observed any trends across the genders in terms of desired outcomes?
Desired outcomes in, sorry, explain
They
that.
want to achieve with you. Like
When
they're
they're,
like, yeah, there's like, did you see men wanting a particular type of thing with experience with you, and the women wanting a different type of experience with you?
so I've coached men and women. I usually only coach women, but I
Oh,
have coached men in the beginning, right?
mhm,
Most men are very, and I'm saying most because it's a very small number that I have coached as well. So just
mhm.
FYI. The men that I've coached, most of them have been looking for an answer.
Okay.
There's always something, there's an answer that they're looking for.
A
Like
specific thing.
not
Okay.
even specific, let's just say, but they want something
They
to,
want you.
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they want something to take with them so they can do something about it.
Very analytical.
Absolutely. So what do I do? Kind of mindset, right? Whereas women are completely okay with not reaching an outcome.
Hmm? It's about the journey.
Yes, they're completely okay with just saying, this sucks, but okay, this is where we are. And there is no answer to this. I'm not going to find a satisfying answer, and that's okay. Eventually, something will come up in later on in my life that may actually give me the answer, or I may never find the answer, and that's okay because they're okay with the awareness.
Yes.
They're
Which is
okay,
which is the key,
which
right?
is the key, really. They're completely okay with the awareness and
Right.
just to walk with that for a while.
Yeah.
Because I feel like more women acknowledge the fact that they are humans and it's okay to have all types of emotions inside of them. And all
Absolutely.
types of like situations and all types of, I feel also traumas. I feel
Yeah.
women are way more uh, I, women accept trauma way more than men do.
We have the capacity to manage it better. I don't know. I don't know if I feel comfortable with that, but I
Just to
understand.
even have trauma, I feel like men are traumatized by the fact that they have trauma.
Oh, I agree with you. There's been a disservice done to men
There
too.
really has. And you realize that when you're coaching.
An emotional disservice done to them.
Honestly, men have really, this is why I mentioned earlier, is that these men are lacking, in this field because the emotional capacity, the
Hmm.
capacity to hold that many emotions
Hmm.
and still be a balanced human and
Yeah.
show up, it's hard for them. And it's because society just never allowed it for them.
Yeah. But it's not impossible.
No, it's not. No, if we're learning, they're also learning. We're all on a learning
The will to
journey.
want to know.
Exactly. But I also feel as though there's a lot more pushback for them to
Mm,
to be emotionally available
mm,
than there is for women. So
yeah.
just
I
like the patriarchy has pushback for us.
I agree with you. Totally. I think I don't know if we kind of touched on this already, but how do you customize your coaching for your clients?
Most of my coaching is customized because
Mm-hmm.
I knew what was necessary and I know what my own requirements were when I was creating this course for myself. I created it for myself really, and
Mm-hmm.
then Then I just played with it. What worked, what didn't, and then we discarded what didn't work. We kept what worked. So I do the same thing with my clients. We work out a path, and
Mm-hmm.
then it's trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one constant in most of the coaching that I do is that please just come here to have fun. Yes, we're going to get into really deep, conversations that are going to bring in emotions that are going to make you cry, that are going to make you very emotional, and you are going to reevaluate what you thought of yourself again and again and again. That's all fine. But eventually, we are going to have a fun factor in this because that's what life really is.
It's key. I
Yes.
mean, having done so much shadow work and never thinking that I was going to get to see the light.
Yeah, the fun part. I'm telling you, when I do mirror work with my clients, there's so much fun. Like they'll say things like, "I'm never wearing a red lipstick. Forget that." And I'm like, "Can we just try it? Just have fun with it. Just
Yeah,
wear it and dance around in your room in it."
yeah, nobody's going to know.
Yeah, nobody will know. You're just having, and so many of us have stopped having fun.
Yes.
You don't have to have fun in front of everyone.
We were ever permitted to have fun to begin with.
I know, or it was just too short-lived, I feel.
It's,
Even if we did, as kids, how many of us, just play dress up? We don't
yeah.
do it as adults because when we do it as an adult, if a girl is playing dress up, and the publicly, people will just call her vain.
Yeah.
But we
It's
don't call that child vain who's playing dress up.
true. Well, I'm a big kid at heart now. I earned it. I'm leaning into my childishness, and
Yeah.
I don't give a F who doesn't like it.
Exactly. So that's a huge, huge factor in my coaching is that we're going to have a fun factor.
So my spirit guides, they're there, and it took me years, and I finally got to the top of this particular mountain with my spirit guides, and I'm going down on the roller coaster with the wee factor
Oh.
now, which is all the challenging stuff, and there's been a lot, some of it really bad challenging stuff in my life. It's a learning experience. Can you perhaps try to look at it as just that and not bring the emotion to it? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
It's
I'm
so
like,
hard.
yeah. But from an energetic perspective, I totally understand what they mean now. You you can't carry that energy with you. If you're doing your shadow work, you're gonna have to work through the shadow and get to the other side because when you get to the healing side, I don't say healed because healing is a journey. When you get to
Mhm.
the healing side, you can't bring that dark, heavy energy. That's counterintuitive to the work you've done. You know,
Exactly.
that's what you need to leave behind now. And so I get what they're saying. You need to have compassionate detachment for the stuff that you've experienced so that you can move on to the healing journey. And so I'm like, I get it. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that for you. I really love that for you because detachment is not an easy thing to do.
Years of work.
Yeah.
Years.
In Hinduism, we say that this whole, the world is basically a veil, and it's called Maya. And it's so difficult to break
Right?
through. Yeah, it's called Maya, and Maya is everything, right? It's emotions, it's what you feel, what you see, what you want. All of this is Maya. And
Okay.
it's created so you can detach from it. That's the process of you being born on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
That is the whole point, at least according to Hinduism, of you
Mm-hmm.
being born on Earth is to detach from Maya so that
Mm-hmm.
you can lead your life towards moksha, which is liberation.
Mm-hmm.
Because your soul needs to liberate from it all
Yes.
so it can be free of it and not come back because we believe in reincarnation. So we keep coming back because all of this stuff is calling you.
Yeah.
You just can't detach.
There's a question I've had in my head all my life, and that is it's not on the list, but it is. Can somebody still become self-aware, having a quote unquote happy life with no challenges? You know what I mean? Because in the spiritual community, they always say you have to have gone through some serious challenges to have awakening. I'm not sure how I feel about that notion.
There's one school of thought is that you are given the challenges that you've chosen. Right? You've heard of that. So you've actually chosen these before you even came in.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I feel as though
Yeah, remember.
right? So I feel as though every soul is here to experience life in their individual way, like your path, my path. And there are certain lessons or Maya or attachments that you want as a soul to break
Mm-hmm.
as almost a challenge.
Right.
So it's like saying, I'm going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's asking you to do that. Nobody's forcing you to do that. You do not
Yeah.
ever in your lifetime have to do that, but you've challenged yourself to do that.
Right.
I feel like that's what this is, and
And
that
oh
people take up these different challenges. And I swear to God, I say this all the time. I'm like, I didn't sign up for this,
yeah. Yeah. But I did.
but I did. But
And
but
that actually, thank you for saying that. That because that is what has gotten me through the challenges. Is
yeah,
with my personal philosophy, it's like, you know, you chose this. You just forgot that you chose it, and
yeah,
that is what brought me to my philosophy of just take little steps. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about how big the progress. Just keep moving forward. Don't fall back. Just go forward. It doesn't matter.
yeah. So honestly, it depends on this is a mindset, right? Is
Yeah.
that this kind of mindset is helping you. Whether it's true or not, neither of us know.
Yes.
But it's actually helping you to know that exactly, exactly. So honestly, it's just a tool.
Yes.
I I wish people would understand that belief, faith is just a tool.
Cool.
We make it into this major, massive thing that we fight over each other. Like, it's just for you. It's not for anyone else.
And this is in terms of, and I get in terms of religion, but this can be true of spiritual community as well. I
Yeah.
don't. I I've had conversations with people who are staunch. I don't follow religion, but they go to church and all of that. And
Yeah.
I said to this woman once, "Well, I am God. I am my own God," and she almost lost her mind.
Yeah, because it's hard for them to detach from their mindset of this is what I believe is true. And to say that you can also believe what you believe is true. They can't have the dual. Yeah, yeah. It's understandable. I mean, there are many people who can't understand that there are, your mind is yours and mine is mine. So,
I've never read the Bible, but I've heard people say that God says that we are Him, or the whatever you think of as
we're
your
made
God.
in his image. Isn't that? Yeah.
We can do what He does, or she does, or it does, and
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah. Honestly, I honestly feel as though as long as you're not harming people,
Yeah.
your belief system will just be a tool for you to go forward in life
Yes.
and to go through whatever it is that's coming at you or for
Again,
you.
I
And
agree.
it's either it's happening to me or for me.
It's the personal journey. And
Exactly.
I don't want to follow anybody's spiritual or religious philosophy that requires me to just unquestionably believe in something external. That's not going to happen with me. So sorry.
Yeah.
Respectfully to
No,
all.
exactly. And this is what works for you as a human. And Sheila, you're not doing anyone any harm.
No.
Right? That's the bottom line. You're not doing anyone any harm.
Ah, this is such a great conversation. Okay. Um. So I like this question because I think a lot of us have gone into talk therapy, but and we just make assumptions about how confidentiality is handled. We don't ask about it. We just go in. So how do you handle confidentiality? You just go into the session. I'm here because I have this kind of thing going on.
Yes.
But people, I wonder how many people actually ask you about the confidentiality. How
Y-
you
You
handle
know, you know, we have contracts where we do have confidentiality clauses. So
it.
there's that, number one. But even if they forget, I mention it in the
Of
first
course.
time I coach someone, I will say this remains between you and I.
Hmm. Hmm.
Not in a very like dramatic way, that don't worry, this is I will just say everything you say to me remains between you and I. And I say that not because of them asking or them being assured. I assure them because I know as humans, when we go, let's say you go to a friend and you're like, I really want to tell you something, but keep it between us.
Yes.
I say it in that sense where this stays between us. So whatever you share with me is
Yeah.
just, it's just remaining here. It's going to remain here. And then if you want, when you leave, it just goes away.
Yeah.
It
I
doesn't
love,
it doesn't come back again until you come back to me again.
right. I
So I
love that.
say it in that sense, also in a confidentiality sense.
Yeah. So I do tarot readings, and I have people sign a disclaimer because sometimes they bring up sensitive issues.
Yes.
I'm not a wizard. I'm reading cards and that kind of. So I'm covering myself, but I make sure they understand that too. It's not the same as what you're doing, but and I also tell them I'm not going to retain what we talked about because I have no interest in retaining. So if you come back to me again, you might have to remind me. I don't want to. I have no interest in retaining what you said to me. I'm just here to impart information for you,
Yeah.
and then afterwards, that's that. I don't. I need them to understand it's a safe space, and
Yes.
whatever comes up, it stays here, and it's going nowhere. And my 62-year-old brain is not going to retain it. I don't want to, you know.
Yes, but it's very healing to know that somebody just said to you that this remains between you and I.
Yeah,
Somehow, just there's a part of us that since childhood, we said that to our friends, like, this is just our secret. And
there's
I
something
feel,
special about that.
yes, it is. And I feel that they're able to open up a little bit more.
Hmm. What are some of the most common outcomes you help your clients achieve?
I would love or hope for them to have a sense of awareness because I feel that that's step number one. That's it. Just be aware that this is what's going on. This is what's happening. You and I have established that this is what's happening right now in your head and in your heart. That's
Hmm.
it. That's all I want them to take away from me. If they find an answer, if they find a solution, if they find I don't know, whatever treasure
Yeah,
chest, I'm over the moon for them.
yeah,
But
I love that.
truly, that only comes from awareness. And if they never ever do anything about the awareness,
Hmm.
that's okay as well.
Yeah,
Because
but
sometimes you are just not capable. And
right,
I'm okay with that being the outcome.
but self-awareness is the key. I mean, that's like the foundation. If that can be imparted to somebody who's on their mental therapy or talk therapy journey, you've given them a really profound tool that they can return to. If they have the will, they can return to it on their own to use it. The self-awareness tool.
Exactly. And you know what? A lot of people say until you go through a lot of issues and you just feeling very, very, very like low, 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 you will not come back to the awareness to work on it. And
Hmm.
maybe that's what they need.
Right.
Maybe they're not there yet.
It's a journey. Right.
Exactly. So, but they will come back, and that day they'll remember the awareness that they had a long time ago, and then, go back to taking the steps from there. So, as you said, even if they come back again to the awareness is at least there.
Yes. We are approaching the last four questions in this portion of the interview.
Yes.
um, can you share a success story from your coaching practice?
I can. Um, see,
Very.
success for me, yeah, exactly. Success for me is when someone feels the change.
Mm.
And
Oh, I love that.
right? And I've had so many people. feel the change in a coaching session, like live in front of me. They
Mm-hmm.
just have that aha moment
Mm-hmm.
where they realize that, oh no, I've been thinking that I'm not worthy because I feel like I don't have, you know, the body that
Mm-hmm.
somebody else has.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never appreciated and loved myself because I don't have a body like that girl does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's as simple as that. And that's an aha moment. And there was this one client call that I had where this girl thought that she needed to look like Barbie. That
Oh.
was the ideal. Barbie's the ideal for all of us, isn't it? We grew up with our Barbie. So in her head, she thought that if you looked like Barbie, then you were perfect. But if
Right.
you didn't, which she didn't,
Mm-hmm.
she thought that she just was never going to get there. She was
Mm-hmm.
never going to look good. She would, no matter what she did, she was never going to be able to reach the pinnacle because the
Mm-hmm.
pinnacle was Barbie. And
Mm-hmm.
when we broke it down, we went back to Mattel and how that was brainwashed into our heads as little girls. That was the pinnacle by a man.
Patriarchal lens.
Right? It was a guy. A man told you that you needed to look like this. And because, you never break it down. Why would you?
Right.
Why would you question something you've known for 40 years of your life? So
Right.
when you break it, so that aha, like I saw the face change, I saw the entire body language change. And these
Mm-hmm.
are the changes that in that moment, it was such an aha moment for her that
Mm-hmm.
a few months later, she had a photo shoot and we did the clothing and things as well, where it was like, oh, this is your body type, you wear these clothes, you'd look more she wanted to look more CEO type, sophisticated. So we went through the fashion stuff as well. She was stunning. But it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't the clothes. It was the
Right.
energy that was exuding from these photographs
Yeah.
because she had let go of the fact that she needed to look like Barbie.
Yeah. And so growing up, that was a thing too. I felt like I had to look a certain way based
Yeah.
on for my mom's standards. She wanted me to and that you growing up as a child with that, you don't recognize the heavy weight that you're carrying all your life. That standard from the parent and then layer on the societal standards, right?
Yeah.
So you grow
Yeah.
up with that, and I spent a lot of my young adulthood, uh, you know, I was trying to break into the modeling industry and doing all of that. And again, it wasn't until like I was in my 40s, like I set my own standards. I dressed the way I wanted. It was just a journey.
Yeah, it is a journey. This is such a complex, it's because women are going through this pressure. With men, it's probably financial
Mhm.
security and how rich they are or how successful. We all have different
Yeah,
paths to take, but really it is an insecurity that comes from society, epigenetics.
and it's such a relief to let that SI go. It's
Yes.
serious, and it doesn't serve the human. It
Yeah.
doesn't serve your personal
Yeah.
humanity anyway.
Yeah, and the
That's
girls today are facing it worse than we did. I mean, Instagram, TikTok, you just celebrities, AI, it's
I'm gonna ask you a question about AI but we're gonna get to that. But
okay.
it's that was why I named my site Bohemian, because Bohemian is outside of the social construct. You
Yeah.
challenge, you do what you live by your own standards. You don't
Yes.
let others challenge or try to influence who they think you are to be. And again, growing up, I was a shy child growing up, but I there was still something in me that would just
Mm.
challenge things. And I'm grateful for that today. Um, um, so before I ask you my AI question, how do you imagine professional coaching will have transformed in 50 to 100 years? I mean, that's a big question, but
Listen, if ChatGPT is coaching you, then I'm out of a job because the number of people that are going to ChatGPT for coaching is
Mm.
is growing. And here's
Yes.
yeah, and I feel that in the next 50 years, the human to human contact will be in jeopardy. It's already in jeopardy, especially after COVID, but I feel that the human to human contact will be in jeopardy. So this coaching business will will take precedence because you really are having a conversation with someone
Mm-hmm.
who is helping you go through what's happening here and here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's confidential
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have anyone else to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this can very easily be replaced by AI, as I said. So ChatGPT can become your next coach. So in the next 50 years, it's either people will want the human to human contact because it's so rare,
Mm-hmm.
or they will just completely switch to a machine telling them what to do and what they're going through and how to, you know, deal with that.
So I have a guarded objectivity about AI. I haven't actually consciously used any of those. I don't even know what they call. Like you said, I don't know what they're called. Chat GT,
Yeah.
whatever that is. I haven't used it yet. I'm sure
Yeah.
I will, but I haven't gotten around to it
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I mean, it's inevitable, and I have mixed feelings about it. I think personally, I might, but I reserve the right to change my mind about this. Like a hybrid experience. If I wanted to have talk therapy, I think I would like to, because that's me. I want to experience it all. So I like the hybrid experience seems reasonable, or human, and maybe AI. But what do you think that do you splitting it along gender lines? Do you think more men would use the AI and more women would seek out a human?
Actually, what I'm seeing with the Gen Z population is that both men and women are not comfortable with talking to someone,
Wow!
just not comfortable having conversations with people. And
Whoa!
we've reached that stage. We really have. I know it seems crazy, but because we come from a generation where that's very normal. I'm telling you, we've reached a stage where Gen Z just doesn't want to talk to anyone, men
That's
or women. They just don't want to talk to anyone.
scary.
Yeah.
The implications of that is scary.
And I'm generalizing. I know, there's a large portion of them that don't, and then there are many that obviously do. So I'm generalizing here, but yeah, the younger Gen Zs, they just feel like, yeah, they don't want human interaction.
On it, on the AI, on the tech.
AI and also just, texting and just, messaging, and that's enough. That's enough. Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
it's interesting. It's very interesting where the society is really headed towards.
yeah, I don't know. Mm,
Can I pause for just 1 second?
pause.
My battery is dying, so I need to just put the cord in.
So while we're waiting for Nimisha to come back, you guys feel free to leave some comments about what you've heard so far, how you feel about what we've shared so far.
I'm back. Thank you.
No worries. Um, so for this segment, last two questions. I don't need the AI question because we covered it. um, do you have any closing remarks about anything we shared? Anything you want to share, just generally?
Just generally, honestly, I think I've gotten to a point where I feel more people are looking for spiritual just I think there's so much exhaustion.
Oh my God, yes.
Right? We're just mentally and
Look,
emotionally.
life is hard to begin with. Then we had the 2020 the COVID, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure that people are even cognizant of how that has impacted them. I'm not sure they're even aware.
Yeah. Yeah, it really has. You see it more in younger generations than you do in older ones because we're a little bit more resilient because of the way we were brought up. Um, but yeah, it's really impacted the younger generations. It really, really has. And
Certain older generations.
sorry,
I think also it's impacted certain
I
older.
agree. I agree. I also, another thing that I feel people are really feeling, myself included, is loneliness.
Oh yeah, and I say that like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, like this,
of course, but
because
that's a sad
that's
commentary on the state of our culture.
that's exactly what it is. It's so, it shouldn't be, but it's that common.
Yeah.
Loneliness. And I know people keep saying male loneliness, but even women are lonely. I'm telling you, there was this garba that Hindus have, where we, play, like, we get together, all the men and women, and we have like the sing song and dance, and we go to the temple and do it. And I used to do it every single year, and I always had someone to go with. This year I had nobody to go with.
Wow.
I couldn't, I didn't know who to go with. And
Hmm.
and I went online on TikTok, and I had a couple of reels come up for me, and there were at least three reels of three different women in different states that said exactly the same thing, that this year I couldn't go with anyone because I had no friends to go with.
It's scary.
Yeah, because people are busy, people are not available, or they just don't want to be out in those
Because
types of public
with
places.
unresolved internal angst that it's they're dealing with that unresolved internal angst, and I feel like they're not. A lot of us are not even conscious that they have that internal angst, and that makes me sad.
Yeah.
But it is. This is what it is.
Yeah.
um. So, and there's no right or wrong answer here. Just speak from your heart. How do you define spirituality?
Oh. Do you have another podcast?
We could, if you
Can I
prefer.
come back for this one?
Sure
So
thing.
I've
We
gotten into
we can
spirituality.
have a group session with all the people I've interviewed so far, just on that.
I'm telling you, this is a topic that so I've recently gotten into spirituality. I started sharing stories of gods and goddesses from my culture on TikTok randomly, right? It wasn't even intentional or anything. One of my friends said her son really liked the stories. So I
Hmm.
just started posting. Just sit down and tell the story. Very simple. And the stories blew up. And now I have all of these people coming to the platform wanting to hear more and more of it. So I feel this spiritual pull
Hmm.
towards, this cultural side of me that I didn't before.
Hmm.
And I feel like so these are stories that my grandparents told me. I'm very lucky to have had that in my life.
Hmm.
And because none of my other, siblings have, or even cousins have had that. I'm the only one that had the privilege of having my grandfather and grandmother tell me these stories.
Hmm.
So when I pass them on, I feel like I'm passing on a legacy, a
Hmm.
spiritual legacy
I
of
love it.
my grandmother. Yeah, so that's what spirituality means to me, is that there's a connection that you have, and your generational um,
Hmm.
connection has to something that's beyond you.
Hmm. Hmm.
And whatever form that will take for you is
Hmm.
very personal. Mine took this form, yours will take another form. But, all these people pushing me to find out more about my own culture and to share with them
It's
is
beautiful.
exactly, it's making me realize that maybe this is coming from, a place of that I don't understand. I don't understand what power.
Hmm.
Maybe it's my grandmother that's pushing me to go and learn all of this and then teach it.
I love it.
And I'm getting connected spiritually to
Hmm.
from my core
Hmm.
to, the supreme. So it's very interesting how spirituality comes into our lives. And
Hmm.
and I completely disagree with people when they say that spirituality is just something that is. It's not. It's a powerful force that really does take over.
Hmm.
Like, you can't deny it. I just couldn't deny this.
Yeah, it's
Um,
been a
and Wasn't
Yeah.
leaning on it at all. My coaching has nothing to do with spirituality in the sense of like Hinduism.
Hmm. Hmm.
And yet here I am.
Yeah. I think that's just beautiful. I know the spirituality became a factor for me again in my 40s when funnily enough, that book, The Secret, and others. Yeah, it was just the timing. It all happened at that time in my 40s, and being on that shadow work journey. That my spirit, I grew and I grew and I grew and I learned more about myself. And my spirit guides have been with me all along. Of course, I didn't always know that, but I know it now.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better.
Honestly, even yours sounds like it just came and took over and said, "Here we are. This is your spiritual side."
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The thing I was just saying that they were always there. I just became cognizant of them.
Yeah,
It's in my 40s. It's a beautiful thing.
it really
As
is.
as hard as it's been, I'm grateful for the journey.
Yeah, same. I agree. Honestly, spirituality is something that
Not for the weak.
you cannot, yeah, you cannot explain it. You just cannot. But it's something that you feel so strongly about that it's something that I can't even argue about with somebody. If somebody says I don't believe, I'm completely okay with it.
Yeah, it's a visceral, independent experience, and it'll be unique to you, and
Exactly.
that's perfect for you.
Exactly. Exactly. I cannot even stress enough how much this is so personal and that I don't really mind if you don't share it with me.
Yeah,
That's what spirituality actually is.
I love it. This was so much fun. I'm Katharina. I'm back, inviting you back in, please, my dear.
Hello.
This is the Turn the Table segment where Nimisha has the opportunity to ask either you or me a question, or both of us, whatever she likes.
Oh, any question. Okay. Let me think.
Just not math questions.
No, no, I wouldn't be able to answer them
Okay,
either.
thank you.
Okay. Sheila, my question for you is that what's the one thing that you didn't do before and now can't imagine not doing?
In terms of my journey,
Yeah, anything, honestly. You can go any direction you like.
oh, I lean into my my so I sketch, I write poetry, I showed you my crochet, I love my tarot. I leaned into that because that was a really big part of my healing journey. To be able to get out of my masculine mental mindset, I counterbalanced, and I took a lot of studio art classes when I was in college and university. And there's something about creating that you get into a zone and your mind just does something crazy. It's like healing.
Yeah.
You're not consciously thinking, you're doing whatever you're doing, but for me, it's healing. My creative process is something I lean into because it's healing,
Yeah.
and I don't not do that anymore. Growing up the way I grew up, it's like that wasn't even something to be considered. Arts, crafts, stuff like that. So yeah, my arts, my creative, my outlets are like therapy for me, and I don't not do it anymore. You know, I used to think of it. This is the best way. I used to think of it as that's a luxury to be creative. I don't have time for that luxury. I have to be productive in society, make sure I have the roof over my head, get that degree. I never, and then I took one art class in college and university, and I was hooked. And then I just started going crazy with all sorts of things. I took poetry classes, and at some point in that creative journey, I felt viscerally the healing. It's healing. It's like I don't think I've taken a formal creative arts therapy class, but that's what it was for me. And I still lean into it to this day more than ever before.
I love that for you. I really do. Because that joy, it never, I feel like it's the joy that comes from it. You know,
Yes.
there's no other compare there, you can't compare that joy to anything in the world.
Yeah, and I mean, this was the hardest thing I ever crocheted.
That's really cool.
And he has mistakes, but I'm so proud of him.
Of course. But it's the process of it also. It's not even just the end result, really. It's the process of how you even got there.
Yeah. And I'm determined. I'm like, I made a mistake. I don't care. I'm just gonna work around it, whatever.
Yeah. See, there you go. It's the process. Yeah, I love that for you. Okay. Katharina, what's the one thing that scares you, but you really want to do?
Wow. So I really, one of the things that's on my radar to do, I haven't timelined it, but I want to do a TED Talk, not TEDx, like actual TED stage. I want to do, and I'm terrified, but I could already see myself doing it, but I just don't know what I talk about, right? So it's like that's on my bucket list, if you will. Like I would
Okay,
love to
so
get.
I'm gonna ask you another one. Sorry, there's a follow-up.
Okay.
Coach coming. But if you were to close your eyes and see yourself on stage, and without thinking, right? You're not allowed to
Mhm.
think. What's the first word that comes to mind in terms of what we're going to talk about?
It would be my journey. Because actually, when I did a year ago, I after I left my 9 to 5, I had a self-imposed retreat, and I was reading this book where she was talking about it was regenerative business. And what the author was talking about was like if you could um, think of what it is that you would talk about, that would just move you and bring, like that would just move you with like passion and whatever, and start crying. And or maybe I made that part up, but I thought about what all the events of my lineage that I knew of that led me to the point where I was sitting able to take this solar retreat in Aruba, having left the 9 to 5 and then switching over my journey to becoming a business owner, entrepreneur. And a lot of it was like um, the weight that the women in my family carry, being Filipina and like being an older sister and just like what it meant to be an older sister. Because I mean, I'm sure that's also in a lot of cultures, but for us, like the title of ate carries a lot of weight and responsibility, and because you're the oldest girl in the family. So, I was thinking of talking about that and like how many times um, I kept myself small because I had to make sure everybody else around me was taken care of, and to give attention to myself would mean that I was being selfish, right? And that was not an acceptable um, uh, thing, I guess it was. But it's not like the world is binary. You can think of yourself and take care of other people at the same time. It's not like either or. So yeah, that's really what it was I would talk about. But it's like a lot of people talk about, I feel like a lot of people, that's a topic, that's a pretty common topic nowadays. And like, I don't know how I would deliver it. Um, but anyway, yes. So it's like TED Talk. And when I think about, closing my eyes, that's what I would talk about.
I love that for you, right?
It's a common topic, but who actually is out there talking about that in the context that you just mentioned?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
we live it because it's our culture,
Yeah.
but you're talking. I think it would be a great TED
I
talk.
think so too. Honestly, Katharina, if this TED Talk really is the goal or the dream, then maybe starting to have like appearances and talks would be the first step, is to actually be in a room full of people talking about this. Even if it's like community events or something, to raise your hand and say, hey, I want to share something that is more emotional, and relatable, rather than, this is my business. That's also great, but just to say this is more relatability, because I feel that there are so many of us that lack that personal touch in our business. But we are our business. You are your brand.
Yeah.
Your brand really isn't the logo or the colors or the whatever, right? Or the website. Your logo is you. You are your brand.
Yeah.
The value of what you bring from your first daughter experience to your work journey is valid and important for people to know.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah, it informs, it definitely informs how we approach, or how I approach things. Yeah, for better and for worse. Let's say, for better
that
and
could
for
be a whole series. Like children, I consider myself the middle child, even though there's four of us, because there's one boy and three girls. But each child's experience it definitely informs how, I'm sure you would agree, Nimisha, how they approach their work.
Two brothers, and I was the eldest sister, so I get what Katharina said. Like, I'm telling you, half the time, I feel like my brothers just had like a completely different life than I did in the same house.
Yep.
And when I mention it, they gaslight me. So I'm just like, okay, fine. Because they don't understand. I don't blame them, but they just don't understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There is a psychologist out there. I don't want to say his name because there's two, but I'm not sure. But he says every child is raised by a different parent in the same household. No child has the same experience with their parent. It's always different.
It's so true. Katharina, we're encouraging you to get out there and start talking about this.
Go, Katharina.
Thank you. I'm like,
groups.
How? What?
We're going to encourage you.
In the audience.
That's
this is me hiding.
Yeah.
There. I'm like, okay.
No, seriously. And you have such great community groups here in Jersey. So yes, please get out there and just be like, listen, this is an emotional share. But I want to share something that may be relatable to you and how I turned it around.
I love this conversation today. I know we have a cap, right, on the time?
Yeah, we're booked until 2:30, but I myself don't have something until 3:30. So
okay. Well, I just want to ask you, Nimisha, to share with your contact information, please, so people can know where to find you.
Yes, I actually am still working on a website. So the best way to contact me is Instagram, which is at the Nimisha Mehta. And usually I come up with there's like a freebie there and things like that. And usually I post things, but I'm working on a program which I will be posting very, very soon, which is on the feminine journey of how we begin as girls and how we get to where we are at 40 and what that journey really entails, and what that journey is really gonna put in your bucket, which doesn't actually belong.
I love this. Okay.
And how you're gonna take it all out one by one. So yeah, I'm working on it.
I'll make sure
I'll post it very, very soon.
I love that, and I'll make sure the link is included.
Thank you.
Katharina, please share where people can reach out to you.
I am mainly active on LinkedIn. So Katharina Marisol on LinkedIn, you'll see my face, except my hair is out. And I am on Instagram, but I'm not as active on Instagram right now. I can only manage one social media account on top of everything. But yeah. So or cfmarisol@gmail.com is my email.
And you can find me I'm mostly on Instagram at Bohemian Woman Rising. You can find me at my website by the same name, on Rumble as Celebrate Your Sacred Self, and Facebook as BohemianWomenRising.com. Our Facebook is Bohemian Women Rising as well. So Nimisha, don't go anywhere. We're gonna end the recording. We're gonna have our proper goodbyes.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for being here with us today. This was such a fabulous conversation, inspiring. I love that. Thank you.